Okay, welcome. Before everything else, first, and that everything else today is big, and hopefully starting today is bigger. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what I think is a bet. You know, like most of you probably don't know me. You saw some ad on Facebook or on, for heaven's sake, website. You saw that there is some teaching that somebody is gonna talk about. So I'm really thankful for the bet. You know. Also, bear with me with my English. I know I can make myself understand, but some words might get a little bit crazy. So if you don't understand, just let me know. Also, thank you for heaven's sake, because they allow me to be here, to use this space, and it's not easy to find places where to speak about these subjects. Oof, okay, nice. Thank you again. We have come a long road. The school I'm representing is called Edipo in Spanish. It's from Argentina. It's a big school. We have about over 1,000 people around the globe from all Latin America, Spain. We have people in Italy too that are trying to understand Spanish. The director of the school, José Luis Parise, is a Spanish speaker. So all his work is in Spanish. This is the first time ever that this teaching that has over 33 years is being spoken in English. We have a couple of translated videos, some articles, but this is the first time we are doing it, a whole class in English. So for us, this is historic because we have come a long road. It's over 30 years of investigation of... Oh, we have different. This is the name of the school, Edipo. It's, in Spanish, it means Enseñanza de Iniciación, Psicoanálisis, Ocultismo. In English, it's Teaching of Initiation, Psychoanalysis, Occultism. We speak mostly about initiation. That's what we speak about. And how that leads to magic. That's why we speak about the 11th step of magic. I don't think that today we are going to be able to cover the 11th step of magic. It's a big subject because it integrates in one method all the teachings from the human history. We go through shamanism, Zen, Tao, I Ching, Christianism, Buddhism, Egypt, all the different teachings from all around the globe. José Luis Parise had a bet 30 years ago. He said, I think that every teaching around the globe has the same, are branches of the same tree. And he wanted to find that tree. What all those teachings speak about when they speak about their teaching. Is that clear? I mean, we try to find what's the root of all those teachings. Because if you go to Jesus, if you go to even, I know, Muhammad, we won't go there because it's a complicated subject, but if you go to Buddha, if you go to the Zen, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Incas, they speak about the same thing with differences according to their cultures, their times. This movie. Okay. This teaching, the Edipo, has been recognized as the Pachacutec teaching by the latest descendant from the Incas. And there is only one original descendant people from the Incas, from the original Inca from 500 years ago. When the Spanish conquistadores went to what is now Peru, those people, the most sacred people, went and hid on the mountains. They kept hiding for 500 years, until around 50, 60 years ago, when their prophecies told them that they had to come back to the world and speak about their teaching. José Luis Parise went to meet them. I went with him and more people to Machu Picchu to meet with them too. And this teaching, Edipo, was recognized by them as the Pachacutec teaching. Pachacutec is it's like their Messiah, their Christ, but not in a way of somebody, but in a way of a teaching that whoever applies that teaching is following the same path. I mean, you don't have to wait for somebody outside to be your master, to be your Christ, to be your Messiah. Pachacutec means if you apply this teaching, that is not something weird. I mean, it's the same that you will find all around here, but in an order. so you can take it to your everyday life. Sometimes, if you're in the bank and you don't have enough money to pay something, or you have to do something that maybe, or you're fighting with your husband, with your wife, whatever, you can sit down and make your energized exercise. You can start doing mantras in the middle of a problem. This teaching is something you can apply everywhere and every time, because mostly it's about yourself and what you do inside. Okay, my name is Javier Darderian. I'm from Argentina. I'm here in Denver thanks to following the same steps that I'm going to teach today to you. I could go step by step, explaining how I'm here, how I got here, the chances I created and the opportunities I created using these steps to get here now. Why Denver? Why this city? This city that is just in the middle between the sky and the floor, you know, between the above and the below. This city is just in the middle. It's the same thing that we need now. And this teaching comes from the Incas too, comes from the mountains. So that this teaching is connecting with a place in the middle of the mountains is part of all the lattice. You know that word, lattice? Like, you know, I know, that's the, oh, thank you. If you can turn off the phones, that's fine. Well, that happens too. That's part of the logic of that's part of the logic of this. Whenever you're about to enter a sacred place or something that's values, there are gonna be different distractions. We call those sphinx, like in Egypt. They're gonna try to distract you for what you are trying to make. I was just coming here and the Uber wasn't there and there was a lot of traffic. So we need to do a lot of stuff to go through those sphinx. That happens and it's normal. And if that doesn't happen when you want to do something that for you is valuable, you are not doing right. You should have those kind of issues. It's normal, and for us it's part of our like everyday life. If everything is just calm, you are just not moving the universe enough. This is the map of the wizard, and the 11 steps of magic. As you can see, there are a lot of stuff here, and we have maps with even more stuff. We won't be able to cover all this today. I try to put as much as possible, but mostly my idea for this introduction is to let you know about this teaching, the basic information about it, where it stands, what's our base myths, our basis philosophy, and the practice about it. I think I have slides for about 3 hours. We don't have 3 hours today, we have 1.5 hours. In some places it say 2 hours, we have 1.5 hours today, so I have an idea of how to solve that. When we get to the finish, I'm gonna make a small, I won't ask any payment, any donation, that's not the idea today. We don't take donations, don't worry. But ways to keep working this without having to be locked by time. So this is the 11 steps of magic. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. This has a logic. This is built on top of logic from psychoanalysis. I think it's known here, psychoanalysis, Freud, Lacan, who continued his work. It has, you can see here, a concept from the Kybalion. We have concept from, we have the Mandalic wheel from the indigenous, like combat negotiation, different warrior, priest, merchant. We have concepts from every teaching integrated in one method. Because in everyday life, you can't just go with everything in a chaos. If you go to the Bible itself, in the beginning there was chaos and God put order there. That's what the Bible tries to teach us, and that's what we try to do with everyday life. What looks like a chaos, we try to put order there, to find the hidden order there and to order what we want there. That's the basic idea. That's why this looks chaotic, but it has an order. So, why now? Why now? Why not before? Why not after? Why now? 2016, near the end of the year, after 30 years. all the teachings in the world. If you go to the Mayans, if you go to the thank you. If you go to the Incas, if you go to Egypt, if you go to Christ itself, if you go to, I mean, everywhere. It's everywhere. They all spoke about that date, 2012. I know it has passed. Most of people think, what happened there? Nothing happened. We have movies with the world coming down. So the problem is that most people didn't want to read what the prophecies say. What people did was, most of people did was to speak about what other people spoke about, what other people spoke about. So, let's go. What happened in 2012 and what didn't happen? That's why now? Why now? Why 2016? The prophecies speak about a lapse of time between 2012 and 2016. Those 4 years, these 4 years, are a lapse of time of transformation, of preparation for what will happen now. But it has already started happening. Whoever has been watching on the news can see that everything seems the same, but worse. The wars are worse. The economy went bad, then went good again, but you don't know how much it will last. Religions are going. I mean, you can go in every religion and you see problems growing every day in every religion. Science is having problems every day too. What we call our paradigms, where we go for solutions, politics, economy, religion, and science, they are showing us more and more problems, and problems are getting faster. The world is getting warmer or colder in some places. I mean, if you keep following the news as we do every day, it might seem that like nothing happened. But what's happening is what the prophecies say that will happen. Everything will look the same for some people, and everything will change for some people. Those teachings try to explain that, and they were very explicit about it. And if you read the different, I'm going to go through 5 of those because we don't have time to go through everyone, but I picked 5 to see. I didn't broke the text, the actual text. I'm going to quote those, and you can go on Google, they are everywhere. I mean, this is not something that is hidden. These times also, the teachings came alive. It's part of the prophecies. Things that were hidden are now in light. So you can go and see. I mean, 10 years ago, you didn't have this many teachings available on Google. I mean, Google was there, but not everybody has a smartphone on their pocket. I mean, everything got faster too, and that's part of the prophecies. I'm gonna get there, but what happened in 2012? Mostly, and I think maybe if you are in this subject, you know that there was something in the sky that happened, an alignment of planets, of the galaxy, or our solar system is going through a change. I mean, it's like you come from winter, you go to spring, and that's because the planet is moving around is moving its position respective to the sun. The same is happening to our solar system, in the galaxy, and in the whole universe, we can say. At least what the Mayans, they have the idea of universe. Now, we are starting to receive something that is special, that only happens once every 15,000 years. I mean, it's not something that happens every year, or every month, or every decade. This happens only once, not even in a lifetime. And one of the most important part of this is that it tries to remind us that the ones, we that choose to be here now, we pick to be here. It's part of our plan to be here in this change. So all the solar system is going through a change. It's receiving more light. You can go. The most scientific thing we can say is light about it. And it's actual light, but it's more light than we had before. It's the light that the shamans went to the top of the mountains to get. They tried to do ceremonies, go to the most difficult places in the world, because in those places they got that light, because every once in a while there is a small ray of light that gets to the planet. But now we are getting every day and every day more. I mean, you don't have to do anything to get to it. It gets to you, and it's in every place. So what happened in 2012? We started to go into spring at a planetary level. That happened That's not something the Mayans invented. That's something that even the science today can see, and it's in the sun, because the sun have gone through a bigger, regarding the sunspot phase. We have the strongest one in all the time we have recorded. This is the strongest one we have, and that's part of it, because the sun is sending us more light, because the sun is getting more light from the center of the universe, we can say. 5 cultures I picked to go through. The Mayans. They have a teaching. The most important one, besides the calendar that I think most of people know, they have a teaching. It was called from the Chilam Balam. It's a writing they had. Where if you go through it, if you read it, you see that in those texts, he speaks about that everything is okay for some people, and in the same paragraph, everything is chaotic for the same people. You see that, and you don't understand how it moves in time, because the paragraph, the text is weird. It goes back and forward in time. It changes what happened. I mean, it's chaotic, but you can see that there are 2 lines there, one positive and one negative. That's the Mayans. That's part of their teachings. Not only the part of the calendar that was talking about when the Chilam Balam was talking about what will happen. The Apocalypse from Jesus. I know it's the John Apocalypse, he wrote it, but if you read it in the beginning, he says, this message, I got it from the angel from Jesus, and angels is a way to say a messenger. So he actually got it from Jesus. If you go to the original books, and it's even there, it's the Apocalypse from Jesus, written by John, I think it is. So, the same thing, if you go to the part of the horses, you can see that while he speaks about chaos and problems, in the same pages, in the same paragraph, you can read that suddenly everything is okay again, and suddenly everything is chaos, and suddenly everything is okay again. You can go and read it, it's right there. I mean, you have while it speaks about the horses, some people have food, but suddenly nobody has food. I mean, it changes every time. It's the same idea of the Mayans, and we know that they never met. I mean, it's just the same teaching that was transmitted to us by different ways. I mean, there are writings from at least 2,000 years ago, not writing, but teachings. But if we go back in time, there are some proof that this can go back to million years here and in other planets, but that's like, I can't prove it, so I won't go there. But this is a teaching that gets repeated by every teacher in our history. The Dendra Rock. I have a picture of it, I will show it. It's a calendar from Egypt. Now it's in France. They took it with Napoleon. He took it to France. But shows the same. Shows a path of time moving and different 2 lines. I will show it in a picture next. 2 lines that go in the same direction, but they don't achieve the same. Hinduism also talks about the different yugas, the different eras that we went through before and that where we have to go now. And all of this also we're speaking about what we have to solve, what we have to dissolve on ourselves, which problems we are going to have outside, which problems we're going to have as humanity and as people. They all spoke about the same. I'm going to go through that in a few minutes. But besides speaking about the issues of the 2 lines of creating the reality, of the 2 lines of reality in this moment, they also spoke about which issues you have to solve. And they spoke, everyone spoke about 4 and 4 and 4. There are the 4 horses of the apocalypse. You can see in Hinduism the 4 yugas. You can find it there. It's there. They all spoke about 4 problems. The Hopi Rock. Do you know the Hopis? The Hopi Indians? Okay, they are right here. I think that this is probably the best to speak about here. They teach the same teaching. They are the longest standing people here in North America. And maybe I think it is the best way to see it because they have what I think and what we think in the school, what we think is the best prophecy for this, because they show it in a very clear way. And they are from here, they're in Arizona. I'm going to be there in a couple of, the next week, I'm going to travel there with the director of the school and with people from the school. We're going to visit the Hopi Rock. Do you know it? Have you read something about it? The Prophecy Rock? Okay. It's a rock. You can think, oh, it's only a rock. But it's a rock that has several hundreds or maybe thousands of years. It has been there for a long time. So this, we're going to try to cover these 5 cultures and what they say about this time. Because they spoke to us. They created prophecies to us because they all knew that this time will come. And they have calendars, maps of the universe, of the skies, and they knew that this time with the earth getting to a place with more light, what's going to happen. And they tried to prepare us, to give us not only the prophecies, not only the what will happen, but also what to do with it, what to do to get to the right track of it. As I say, there are 2 lines. I'm going to show it's very clear on the Hopi Rock. It's not that clear on the Apocalypse, it's not that clear on the different teachings. In the Hopi Rock, it's very clear if you have seen it, and you will see it in a few minutes too. It's very clear and it's so simple that it's hard not to think, is this real? But I'm going to show you several things that really make it is very special and very interesting. So they spoke about this time. They tried to give us also the tools to go through this time. And they all have a same message, the same one. It's what initiation is about. It's a harsh message. It goes right through the narcissism of everyone, but it tries to remind every one of us that we are not there until we do what we had to do to be there. It's simpler to see in psychoanalysis. That's why it's psychoanalysis and occultism. We use psychoanalysis tools to understand. Oops, it went crazy.
I didn't touch.
No, sorry. Okay, so this is a subject that is difficult to me because for me it's easier to speak about psychoanalysis, and I know more about it. It's simple for I'm also a web developer. I do technology stuff, so whatever is the left hemisphere, it's easier for me to explain. I'm more comfortable doing it. So, but I have to go also. I'm trying to go through the right hemisphere now to the occultism part. But we have to work with both because that's also part of the prophecies. This is a time to integrate both hemispheres. So that's why I get a little bit nervous. So sorry. We try to use psychoanalysis tools to understand prophecies, books, teachings that for us are like thousands of years ago and thousands of miles long to get it. I mean, if you read Hinduism, if you go to the Mayans, if you try to read whatever teaching we have from Egypt, it's not clear for us what they try to do. We mostly try to interpret them. They spoke about a different time, and in India they have different lives too. I mean, it's not the same what Krishna was trying to teach. Not what, but how he was trying to teach to the people in those times. Arjuna, one of the greatest warriors, how he had to go through his problems. He was a warrior, he was a general, he had to fight with his family in a big war. We don't have those issues now, but we have problems in our families. We have this, the what is the same. What we have to go through is the same, but how they have to go through it is different. So with psychoanalysis, we have the tools to understand the structure of it, what they were talking about, to see how to use it now, because the times change, but we have the same problems. I mean, poverty is still there, the emptiness of spirit of most people is still there. I mean, whatever you get, it doesn't matter how much stuff you have, there is a feeling of emptiness in at least, let's say, mostly, or most people. That same spiritual vacuum, is that clear to you? Okay. Is there now and was there 12,000 years ago. So what they spoke about is the same. The thing is, with psychoanalysis we can understand the what without getting lost in the hows, the ways. Because if not, you get lost without the energy, the pyramids, the stones. I mean, everything, all that has a place in this, but it has an order too. You have to do some steps to get to where that thing works actually and has the best results for you. So we're going to go quickly through these 5 cultures and different ways they try to teach. And I'm going to show you also these graphs, these schemas, the different drawings they use, because they all have the same logic. The Mayans spoke about this is one of their gods, this is what brought them the energy, this is what's happening now again, this is what's waking up now. You can see it has a logic. It has four parts, a center, and 2 crosses. This is the Hopi. You can see again, there is same logic. A circle, 4 sides, and crossing crosses. This, I mean, I was here before starting, and I was seeing here. This has the same logic. You can see it here. This is very similar too. I mean, it's something that every teaching tried to draw, to teach us. And they had different ways, but there was the same message. This is the map. And this is what we had to use. They tried to teach it with different stories. They went to, they told stories to their children. They went to different ways to explain it. But they were they all were teaching the same basic diagram. This is Dendera, the Dendera calendar from Egypt. It has the same, it's a circle, you have 2 crosses. In every culture, everything has a name. We don't have time today to go through all those, but everything has a name, everything has a logic. In the center, they have the key to the I know that New Age here is a big thing. New Age, we try to speak about a new era. To try to differentiate ourselves from the New Age, because it's a movement that it has the right tools, but it's using it for keeping everything in the same place. So we try to use New Era, but we use the New Age stuff. I mean, it's there. We have tools, we have energy, exercise. Everything is there, but you have to put it in the correct order. This is from Hinduism. This is one of their mandalas, one of their principal signs. It's the same, a circle with 4 crosses. It's the same idea, the same concept, the same diagram. I'm speaking about cultures that they don't know each other. The Mayans, Egypt, Hinduism, they have thousands of years apart and thousands of miles apart from each other. This is from Jesus. It's very similar. The basic idea. The cross was there, and he was speaking about the same. I mean, it's not that clear in the canonical books, but you have to remember that there were hundreds of books about Greece. There were hundreds of the books from, I don't remember the word in English, from the books in the Bible in
Old Testament, New
the New Testament.
New
Yeah.
Testament.
There were hundreds of testaments.
Yes.
The church picked 4 because they were the best for what they wanted to do. I mean, you can agree with them or not agree with them, but what they wanted to do was to have an institution between you and God. But if you go to the other hundreds of books that were writing before the Mark, John, before those, you can see that Christ was speaking directly to people about connecting directly with God, not with an institution. Christ was speaking about you have to prayer in silence, in your room, not in the church where everybody can see you. It's something between you and your divinity, not between you and something outside. That's the key teaching that he was trying to show, and that's what Egypt did, what the Mayans did, what every teaching tried to do. You don't have to go to find something outside. The teaching that what's divine is inside you, but you have to connect with it. All those teachings were trying to speak about this time. This is what happened in our sky December 21st, 2012. I was in Mexico. I was with this school, with the director of the school, with people from the school. We were in Mexico. We were in the biggest event that was created there. There was a big conference with teachers from all around the world. We went to one of the biggest pyramids. We did a whole night ritual to receive the first lights of the new era. I was there. It was really amazing because it was thousands of people united around their one, not the most important one, that Chichen Itza, that maybe is the one you know, that it has the snake coming down the stairs. It's another one, but it's the one that we needed for that time. It's the female pyramid, because we need to receive something. So it was the place to be. We met there with what I was talking about, the latest descendant from the Inca people, the Queros. We meet with them again there. The director of the school meet with them 20 years ago when they were just getting out of the mountains. We met with them there again, and it has started. Lots of things have been happening with them. We have been helping them. They have come to Buenos Aires, where the school is located, the main school. So they have been doing courses, teaching there. We went to Machu Picchu and meet with them. So what happened there opened a lot of doors for this teaching too. This happened in our heads, in the sky, starting on December 21st, 2012. The same thing that this happened. This is something that happened in the sky. It had the same logic. I took this from some documentaries that were trying to explain it, but you can see the same logic. They were speaking about it. They have it in the calendars. I mean, it's not something that they made up. The people in their cultures that studied this, they found that this is the logic to follow. This was in the sky, and if you know the Kybalion from Egypt, you know that as above, so below. So this was in the sky, and that led us to what we can find in everyday life. What has been raining upon us since December 21st, 2012, is plasma. Have you heard about plasma? Plasma is what's called by scientists the first state of matter. It's before solid, before liquid, and before gas. It's the matrix of matter. And what it does, first of all, it's what in other cultures was called the ki, the ether, on Greece. I mean, it has been everywhere. The manna from the sky in the Bible, it's the same state, the same particle they were trying to find. Why? Because this is what you use to create your reality. And that's what this is all about, to create your own reality. We are used to having the reality. The reality is that, the reality is that, the economy is that, I mean, we have been hearing that reality is there, and we are here to get used to it. Well, that's not what Christ was speaking about. One little thing: if I'm not making this interesting, let me know, because if you are not starting to see something interesting in this, it's because I'm doing it wrong. So let me know if you're getting bored. If I'm not making this subject interesting, that's my bad. So let me know, because my idea is to be a bridge, you know, and a bridge can unite or separate. And if you are not seeing something interesting in this, on the idea of I picked 5, but I can get more teachings. They all spoke about the same thing. They all have the same symbols. The symbols. They were speaking about the same. They all have the same prophecies. I mean, and they were all speaking about this time. If I am not making that interesting enough, let me know, because I need to do it.
I don't know about interesting, but
Yeah.
clear. It's not very clear.
Okay.
So, interesting, I'd say yeah, but I'm curious, mostly like what you're
Well-
trying to get to.
Oh, okay, great. That's part of the plan. Don't worry. I mean, I'm trying to go through the different. I said it at the beginning. I'm trying to show the basic structure of our teaching, to go through what it is about and how it works. Mostly, I'm trying to speak about why and why now, why this is important, why every one of us connected with this. I mean, there are hundreds of teachings, thousands of teachings around the globe, and why I'm here now, why each one of us is here now, how each one of us connected with this, why now, why today, why here in Denver, why here in Colorado. I mean, I'm trying to go through all that. I know it's not clear where we're going. If that's a problem, that's fine, because that's part of the plan. I'm going to what I'm trying to go as the point is the high road to heroism, the 11th step of magic. But if I don't explain what it is about and why we have to hear about it, I mean, it's just gonna be something else that, oh, this is just something else. But this is not just something else. This is the same teaching that Buddha, Christ, Muhammad, Egypt, the Mayans, the Incas. I think I went through the Hopi, the Navajo people too, from here. I mean, everyone spoke about the same. So, and they were all speaking to us now, today, in this path. If we were born in this year to be here today, here I mean also in this planet, now it's because we choose to do it, and we choose to do it to go through all this path as heroes. That's where I'm trying to go. Is that clear?
I guess I'll have to see how it
Okay,
culminates
but do you understand
together.
where we're going? We are going why we need high road to heroism. That's the point. As I was saying, this is what I have a nice echo here, nice. This is what the science calls the first state of matter. This is what you use and what Christ used and what Buddha used and what the Incas used to create reality. If you go to has any one of you went to Machu Picchu? Machu Picchu to huh?
I said, I wish.
Have you seen pictures of?
It's on the list.
Yeah, nice. It's a good place to go. Have you seen pictures of it?
Yes.
It's a city in the middle of the mountains, and you see how and why did they do that? I mean, it seems impossible to us to understand how they did it with their tools of that time. We are speaking about 500 years ago, 600 years ago, and if you go there and you speak with the right people, they tell you it's even older. They have part of the city that you see different stone, and they say, no, this part has over 2,000 years, and this is the new part, is 600 years. So you don't understand how they did it. They use this plasma. This is what's coming from the center of the galaxy now. This is what it comes from the center of the galaxy to our sun, and from the sun to us. Have you seen it was in the news when it started to happen in the, how do you call it, the plasma explosions, the gamma rays explosions, that they were showing, oh, maybe everything will freeze, you won't have more technology. Science was thinking that it's a problem. It's usually what scientists do with new things. If they understand it, it's probably a problem for you. But it's there, and it has been raining upon us since 2012. This is what the holy people from all the cultures were trying to find in. They had like drops, you know. They didn't have a rain like us. They were trying to find a little bit of it, and they were able to create great things with it. The pyramids from Egypt too. I mean, if you, we still don't there you can see hundreds of documentaries explaining how they did it, but they think that maybe they use, nobody knows how they did it. They did something that we don't understand now. They had this because in their time there was a small, let's say a small rain. Right now we have a flood. I mean, we are being flooded by plasma. This is plasma. It doesn't show that well here. Have you seen those small balls that you put your fingers and it does? That's also plasma. And usually when you touch it, you see one line here and it creates another line here. You see that it has the same logic of the different diagrams I was showing you. This is in a big one, but what? This one. This is a picture of plasma in a laboratory. The first one they took. This is actually how plasma looks. This is what is raining upon us. That's what I say a couple of minutes ago. Sorry, when I was saying that this was happening in our. Let me go to it. This one.
Raining upon us.
Huh?
What do you mean by raining upon us?
It comes from the sun. It's part of what the sun is doing. It's the light from the sun.
Oh, the sunspots?
Yeah, the sunspot. That's right. The
Okay.
sunspot. The sunspot has plasma. Have plasma, and we have been having more of those now than ever before. The prophecy from the Mayans speak about it as Hunabhu will wake up and tell Kinich Ahau new stories, and Kinich Ahau will tell those stories to us. Hunabhu is what we call the center of the galaxy. Kinich Ahau is what we call the sun. They have the same logic. They should have to try to tell it in different ways. But the idea was the same. The center of the galaxy is sending us more energy, and the sun is getting more energy, is waking up and sending us more energy. That energy is this one, plasma. It's the first state of matter, as I say, is in the matrix. If you connect with it, you can make whatever you want with it. The problem is that, as you can see, every line has another line on the other side. It's symmetric. If you don't do it right, while you create the good things, it will create bad things for you too. If you don't do it right, and by right I don't mean morally right. I mean following the steps that the different teachings try to talk us. Plasma has mostly three characteristics. It amplifies. Whatever you connect with plasma, and whatever plasma connects to, it's amplified. You can see it today in the news. Maybe here you can. I mean, in every country you can see it in something different. Here, I think that a good way to see it is with the different problems with shootings in everywhere. Like it's happening more and more. Plasma is getting to the people, and that problem is happening more and more. It's amplifying. It connects too. We can see that today the humanity is more connected now than ever. I mean, I work with computers, I work with internet, and I have been working with internet maybe for 15, 20 years now, with computers I mean, and I have never seen the humanity more connected than now. We created something that connects us every day, every time, with our phones, with a tablet, whatever you want, you are connected with the whole humanity in just seconds. That's happening now, and it's part of what the prophecies say that will happen, and part of what plasma is doing, connects. And it accelerates. I don't know if you have been able to notice it, but something that has been happening is that time seems to be moving faster. Days seem to be shorter, years seem to, and it's not only happening to my father thinks that years are shorter now, but we can see it, and it even seems like the time is moving faster. Well, it is. But I mean, since everything is moving faster, also the clocks are moving faster. But this is what plasma does. It's what it does. I mean, it will do it to whatever is happening. And it will do it to. Nice. That's nice. It will do it to you. It will do it to the plants. It will do it to the people. It will do it to politics. It will do it to anything because, again, it's raining upon us. I say rain because It's not something that you can actually see, but it's in every day. Every day when you see the sun, that's what's happening to us. The sun is sending light plasma to us. Everything is more accelerated, more connected, and more amplified. But the trick here is that it will happen to whatever it is there. I mean, if you're in a bad mood, your bad mood will be amplified, will be more connected, and will be more accelerated. If you are in a good mood, your good mood will be amplified, it will be more connected with different things, and will accelerate. Whatever you put in you, whatever is inside you, will get this, because we are swimming in plasma now. This started in 2012, so by now, this phase, 2012, 2016, is the preparation phase. We have an introductory phase before. It was 11 years before 2012. It started in 2001. I mean, the world was shaken that year, 2001. 9/11 was a way of the world to know that things were changing. And from there to now, everything it was the introductory part. And now we're in the preparation part for what won't be 1 year, 2 years of plasma. We're speaking about 5,000 years of plasma. I mean, we're getting to a spring where our planet will be getting plasma more and more every day for the next 5,000 years. So this is not something that you can think, okay, maybe it will go away. It won't go away for several reincarnations, let's say. So that's why they call upon the heroism in each of us, because trying to work with plasma is not easy, because it's trying to work with fire. If you don't do it right, you're gonna burn yourself. You have to learn some laws to work with it. If you don't do it right, you're gonna burn your house. You have to do it in some places where you can handle it. The same happens with plasma. It's everywhere, but you have to learn to work with it, and to not even to connect with it, but to help it connect with what you want it to do. Is that being clear? I mean, it's there, but you can choose what to do. This is the Hopi rock. We're gonna go there. Now, we were plasma. Okay. Again, this is the map, the basic map we're doing. You can see this on our Facebook page, the 11 Step of Magic. You have this on the header, so you can see it there. You can take pictures however you want. I did this translation because originally it's in Spanish, so this is a translation I did, and there are concepts there that we can. I mean, again, we can't cover everything today, but you can see the same logic of the cross, the center, the cycle. Here in the center, you have the same logic that we were seeing, because this is today the best way to explain it, to use it in everyday life. You have here the signals that you see every day. You have here like the lattice, what to do with your ideas, what to do with your words, what to do with the stuff, the things you find in everyday life, what to do with the system. We have hundreds of systems of so where they go, you can see they are here, but they are in a specific place. It's not everywhere. They're here and they have function, and there is a moment to use them and a function for them. What to do with chance? This is mostly the most important one of probably humanity now. What happens with chance? What happens by chance, and how to chance? In Spanish we call it casualizar. In English we try to explain it by chancing, to create the chance. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that you can create. And plasma helps that, because it's what connects you with those chances or helps you create them. So this is the map. This is what we try to teach. Sorry.
Does chance mean opportunity?
Yeah, it's a way to say opportunity.
Opportunity.
Yeah,
to change?
casualty, but casualty has a different meaning here.
Okay.
Does it feel like the same as synchronicity, maybe?
Also, that's true. Yeah, there's different words to explain the same. Those stuff that happen to you by chance.
Mm-hmm.
It has been scientifically proven that about 70-80% of what happens in everybody's life happens by chance. The work you have, where you live, the day you were born, the people you met, who you married to, I mean, every little thing in our daily life happens mostly by chance. And one simple thing is you went to find a job and you got there 5 minutes later, and the guy before you got the job, that happened by chance. But why that happened to you, if you wanted to get that job, that's something that you can understand, and you can't make it happen too. To get there faster, to get there when you need to be. I will go now through one of the clearest prophecies for this time, the Hopi Rock. This is a Hopi Rock. It's a big rock in the middle of the Arizona desert. The Hopi people, they don't have newspapers. They have like newspapers from all times. They have lots of rocks in their desert, in their land. And what they were taught by their elders is that if you find a rock with some writings in it, that rock speaks to you today. So this rock was there thousands of years, and it has this. I'm happy to with the drawings clear. But what they use is that if somebody finds the prophecy, he's the keeper of the prophecy. He was chosen, let's say, but also the prophecy is for today. Let's say it's like if you go to the street and you find a newspaper for 2 years ago, they understand, and we understand it too in the method of magic. They understand that that thing you found is speaking to you about now. That's the step 4. Let me go to it. Step 4, signer. You see? It's a signer you find in your everyday life. Like getting late to a job appointment. And you got late because the bus was late, because there was a lot of traffic in the street, whatever happened. But that's a sign that is speaking to you today, about what you are doing today. That's the same thing they do. If they find a rock, at one point, these rocks have thousands of years. They are from their elders. If they find a rock, it's speaking to them about now. This is the rock. This is the drawing it has. I know it looks childish. I know it's very simple, but it's part of it, because if it was too complicated, people will be saying, it's too complicated. If it's too simple, people will say, it's too simple. So that happens, but we need to understand that this rock was left there for us, and it was left there here in North America, so it also speaks to everyone who is here. As you can see, it shows 2 lines. That's the key part of the prophecy. This is also very important. We are going to work with this closer to the end of the talk. This is also very important, this diagram. This is the origin of their teaching, the human and where it comes from, the cross happening there too, how the humanity got divided in 2 different lines, and where one of the lines go and where one of the other lines go. In short, because it is very long and it has all the 11 steps of magic are here too. You can go. This is step 1. This is step 2. We can go step by step, but that's not my idea today. I want you to know that this exists and what this speaks about. It's the same thing that we found in all the other teachings. We see the 2 lines happening at the same time. That's the basic. That's why I went through showing you that the different teachings speak about 2 lines of time happening in the same period, in the same moment. This line is what they call the line that you can see it suddenly goes away, something happens there. This is a little more clearer. There is something that happened there that cuts it, like it ends there. There's 4 people here, and this is the other line. This is the line that goes to, let's say, to the bad path, to the line where humanity is going now. I mean, if anybody thinks that humanity is going in the right place, I will need proofs of that. I mean, everything is getting worse, and we will see that every single thing where we go for solutions is getting worse too. So they speak about 4 problems in the problematic line, in the negative line. And this is positive line. You can see that it continues. It keeps going. There is somebody there. It has a crop. I mean, it has stuff to eat. It's having a nice life, let's say. This actually keeps moving forward. Let me see if I can show it here. It's this line here. It's very, very thin, but it keeps moving and it goes beyond the rock. That's what we are going to see now. I mean, the school, we're visiting the Hopi Rock next week. So we're going to see what's on the other side because there is no picture of it. But the line keeps going. I mean, you can see it's a line, and here, it doesn't shows here, but the line keeps going here and it goes back. So the negative line it ends. Something happens, and it's a ray from the sky. It's plasma from the sky. It's what's happening now. This is the positive line, where what we call the high road to heroism. That's one way to call it, because I mean there are different ways where different cultures call it. Wizard, hero, messiah, whoever tried to took the path of creating himself was called a hero. Whoever took the path of going beyond what was possible in that time was called a hero. That's what we are trying to do now, every day, and that's why what I'm trying to show you. That is what I think, and likely thousands of people around the globe now think that it's the best way for everyone. And the most important thing is that you can see it's one guy. It's an individual path. I mean, it's in the same place. It's not isolated, but it's individual. It doesn't go to the mountains like the Incas did 500 years ago. It doesn't try to separate himself from society. It's not a sect. We don't ask people to leave their families. I mean, what everybody has to do it where they choose to be born. Nothing happened by accident. I mean, everybody has the family that everybody picked to have. I mean, you can go to the old books of Tibet, and they try to teach you that you pick your father and your mother, because they were going to create the reality that you needed to create to solve what you came here to solve. That's why this is happening in society. It's not happening in a temple, in a monastery. It doesn't happen isolated in the mountains. It happens in society here, using the technology, using everything we have, but it's in an individual path. That's what is called the Highroad to Heroism, and that's why it's a call for the hero in each one of us. Not for let's everybody be heroes. You have to be a hero. Everyone. It's an individual path. But we're still speaking about these 4 here. These 4 here are the same ones that in Hinduism are the yugas, the 4 horses of the apocalypse. And these one are what today we take as paradigms, where we go for solutions. I mean, today, let me see if I got it. Oh, this is in Hinduism. You see, they have 4 horses. This is Krishna and Arjuna, their god and like their hero, and their 4 horses. And this is Krishna. He drives the horses, but the hero tells where to go. This is key because God, Krishna, listens to you. This is a key part of the method. This is step 2. You have to speak and to listen to yourself. We don't have time to go, and I don't know how much time we have now.
Half an hour, less than half an hour.
Great. We can go in deep on the step 2 because step 2 we have to go to Taoism, where Tao, the origin of Tao is to say, and all that they teach is to work with your words, with what you say and what you say in what you say, or what you speak in what you say. We try to differentiate that, not only the idea of what you're speaking about, but actually what you are speaking about. Because plasma, since it's the same particle of God, it's the same, it comes from the God, from the sun, from Kinich Ahau, Unabhu, what the Mayans, they believed it was their God, what gives life to all the world. Plasma, listen to you. That's one of the key. You have to speak to it. And there are exercises to do every day that are very simple. It's just 5 minutes a day. I mean, we try not to invade our life with exercise, because you get distracted with exercise and life happens in front of you while you are trying to do exercises. But God listens to you, and God drives the 4 horses. These 4 horses are the 4 paradigms. If they go crazy, and if you don't tell them where to go, they're going to go where they usually go, and that's usually problems. These are the 4 paradigms: politics, economy, religion, and science. It's not hard to see where they're going wrong now. I mean, in politics, I have been watching politics. I got here a month ago, but I work with companies in North America. I follow American politics. I'm very interested in this culture, and I think that nobody in any side of the politics spectrum thinks that this is the best time politics. You probably think that the other side is the worst ever, and the other people think that the other side is the worst ever, and the people in the third party think that everything is the worst. I mean, it's not going right. And not only here. You go to Europe, they have the Brexit because they were tired of the politics. But you go to Germany and they're having issues. France has issues, and the Islam world too. I mean, politics is not solving stuff. But we go to politics for solutions. We vote, and we expect them to do stuff for us, to create a reality that we want to have. A better streets, better education, whatever we want. We expect them to do it, but they are not doing their job. I mean, it's not working right. Economy here now looks better, but I know in the world we come from the big recession. It happened just in 2008, and every report that you read, they say it might just happen again soon. I mean, it looks like, okay, everything is looking right, but the conditions for what happened in 2008 is about to happen again if you follow the same variables they see. I mean, it's not getting better too. I know we have reports from the UN where poverty is the lowest in the history of mankind, but if you go to the poor countries, it's not getting better. People are still poor, we have wars, we have, economy has created a lot of mafias, problems, drugs, prostitution, all that creates more issues all around the economy. Religion, and we speak about institution, like religion, not the religion that we speak about, the original religion. The one that you have a professional priest that works, that is his life to do it, and he wants to connect you with God. He tries to be always in the middle. Religion is not getting better either. I mean, you can see in Islam, it's very obvious they are going wrong. Judaism is having issues. Catholicism, and the new Pope, he's from Argentina, and we know it closely. He's not as good as he looks. I mean, he has a lot of issues, and all the problems with the abuses and everything shows that religion is not a solid place where to go for solutions. Science is a little bit more complicated because, I mean, we use it, it's here, we have the camera, the computer, the projector. I use internet for my day-to-day work. I use internet to promote this talk. I mean, we use it and it seems like it's working, but science is the hardest one of all those because it has solutions. It brings solutions to humanity, but with a not very small price. What science is doing to our planet, I mean, we never did something like that before. The Mayans were hundreds of years in the Yucatan Peninsula, and they left the place better than they got it. And the Incas, they built amazing cities in the middle of the mountains, and working with the environment, not destroying the environment. You go there and you see the animals walking through the city, and they were there before, and they are there after. They didn't kill them. You go to Egypt, they used the river to create their pyramids. I mean, they didn't kill the river, the Nilo River. I mean, they use it, and every big culture of or war try to leave the planet be better than they got it. We are not doing that. I mean, and science is part of the problem. I mean, I try to be gentle with science because I know it's the one that gets more resistance in everywhere, but science is actually most of the problem because we believe that what science says is true, and the key part there is that we believe. And if the TV says to us that this has been proven scientifically, that's okay, it's true. But you are believing him, the TV, that they saw the science do it, and the scientists didn't lie, and that everything should happen the way they say. But you have to believe them, the same way that you end up believing religion that the Virgin Mary was a virgin. You have to believe it, you have proof. And you don't have proof of the particle of God on the particle accelerator that they build. You don't have proof that anything that they say works. The placebo effect is maybe one of the biggest thing for science. If they give you a pill that say it will cure you, it will cure you even if it's just sugar, even if it's only sugar. So we keep believing science, and it works because we believe in it. But science has decided several hundreds of years ago to leave behind everything that was the core part of the science. If you go to Newton, 90% of Newton's writings, the father of modern science, or the grandparent of modern science, Newton, 90% of his readings were about occultism. He was writing about hidden forces that move stuff, gravity, but when he started speaking about gravity, he sounded like crazy because he was speaking about a hidden force that was moving things around, planets, us to the ground. So he was able to show that it works, but at the beginning he was sounding crazy. But 90% of his works are about alchemy, what is the origin of science too. If you go to one of the biggest science of our world, Einstein, there are letters from Einstein where he explains that the solutions he found, he went to the dreams to find it. He wasn't doing math, he went to the dreams. There are pictures of Einstein with the Hopi people. He went to visit there, he went to learn from them, and he used concepts that are from indigenous people. Space-time, his big concept. Space-time is a concept from that you can find in the indigenous people as Pacha. Pacha means space-time. Pacha, the word that they use, is space-time. The same one that Einstein used. He went there and he learned that from the indigenous people, and he sold it to scientists. And everybody, oh, this is science. No, the origin of those words, of stuff that we are using every day for go to the moon and everything, come from esoteric words. But science has decided that all what is hidden to us, if you don't see it, it's not there. I mean, it has to be the dense world. And 12,000 years of history of humanity and the teachings and what the previous cultures did show us that there is a subtle world that moves everything. You don't see the wind, but the wind moves the leaves. It's there. The same thing happens with the spoken word. You don't see the effects of it, but when you speak, your words go everywhere. But science doesn't have proof of that, so they think that doesn't happen. Chakra doesn't happen, and the aura doesn't exist. Energy is just what you get from the wall. I mean, science is the biggest problem right now because it's what today is telling us what's real and what's not real. And to create your own reality, you can't have something outside you tell you what's real and what's not. I mean, if you want to create something that is beyond what's possible to you, if you have a sickness that science says It's not something that science can cure. That doesn't mean it's not curable. It means science can cure it. You can go to the indigenous people, and they have solutions for us. They have them, and they have been having it for years, for thousands of years. But science say, no, it doesn't work. And the shaman give you a leaf with some spoken words, and it cures you. But the science goes, and they don't find something there, because it's not there. It's what the shaman did to the leaf, and the power it has now, and the words that were spoken to it. As I was saying, Arjuna speaks to Krishna. You have to speak to plasma. Shamans speak to the medicine they're going to give you. These are the 4 horses of apocalypse. These are the 4 yugas. These are the 4. If you follow those, and again, if you follow, not if you use them, because if you can see here, Krishna and Arjuna are. This is from the Bhagavad Gita, from Hinduism. This the most bright thing from all the Hinduism, that you have thousands of teachings, but this is the core of the Arjuna and Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita. This is the 4 horses that can go wherever they want or where you tell them to go. The 4 persons that are in the negative path. And this is what every teaching has been trying to let us know now. That if we follow this, and again, I will say it again, if we follow that, if we use them as a place to go for answers, they are going to take us to a negative path, what the prophecies call the chaos, the destruction, the end of the world. The end of the world was an interpretation of some people, but the end of the world, mostly everything is going to get so bad for some people that they're going to think it's the end of the world. But the worst part is that the chaotic part will not end, will keep going and going if you keep following this, and that's where the humanity is going. But we're going to go now to, because we can expect them to change. They won't change. Magic, what we try to teach us magic, as create your own reality, has several laws, but one very important is that you can't change other people's reality. What you can do is to teach other people to create their own reality. Because if you try to change somebody else's reality, you open the door for those people to change yours. So it's one of the, that's what's called black magic. If you try to affect somebody else's universe, reality, we work with white magic. We work with our own reality. My reality, you have your reality, everybody has their own reality, and we all work together. We all live in the same world, but everybody has a reality for their own. But you have to work with your reality, and that part, most important, is you have to work from the inside. You can't change this. This won't change. It's there, and it's there to teach you something. To teach you something about you, about each one of us. These 4, actually, you can, the prophecies speak about 4, but they also speak about 3. Because you have politics, economy, and they speak about religion and science as the same one. Because in the end, you have to believe in science. You can do some testing and you can know gravity is there, the things get attracted, you see the planets. There are things that you can prove, but in the end, you end up believing in science. That's what, in the core, in the root, they both share the same principle. If you go here, in this one, you can see that this is the 4th one. It's almost outside, but it's connected to the first one, to the other one. Again, here, there is an extra one that is almost outside, but it's part of what's been happening. That's the connection between science and religion. They both work together. Science is actually a new way of religion. They changed the black coats for the white coats, and this is an old joke that we use. They used to do. I think it works mostly in Spanish, but the thing they changed the from black to white. They still speak in the university. They speak from I mean they preach. They are professionals. I mean, I'm having problem with the translation there. Sorry, but you can see that you end up believing in science. You believe that when you go to a website, you're seeing the website you want to see, and then they're keeping it private and nobody else can know about it. But then you know you know that technology companies are filtering information, but you believe then that they were not doing it, but see that they are doing it. So in the end, you have to believe in religion and you have to believe in science. They don't ask you something different than just believe in them. That's why we see them as one. As I say, you can't change this. It won't change. But what you can do and what the teachings try to tell us is that each one of these has a representative inside us. There is one of these inside each of us, because this is what we learned, this is what we see every day. So they have what's called archetypes inside. Archetypes is the original way, the original form of something. So they say there are 3 archetypes, one for each one of these. And those, the most important thing of those is that you have the power on them. You don't have to wait for politics to be ethical. You don't have to wait for economy to go well. You don't have to wait for religion and science to don't lie to you or to say you things that actually work. You can solve the issue inside you working with those archetypes, and then you will be able to use this for what you want. The 3 archetypes are very simple. I will go one by one. The first one we can see is the victim. I think everybody in their lives knows somebody that goes to the victim place, and in every family you have the father, the mother, and the children. The children go to the victim place. Maybe the father is trying to punish him, and the mother is trying to save him. The victim is one of the places where we go for solutions inside of us. It's one of the places where one of the automatic places. One of the places where our minds go automatic in some moments. And that's part of the issue, that it goes automatically to it. And whatever happens automatically in your mind is what we call the other in you. This is one of the concepts from Freud. I'm almost quoting exactly. There is somebody else living inside you. That's almost a quote from in your mind, he says. Because listening to people, he listened that there are phrases, words that while somebody speaks, they escape. But those words,
Freudian slips.
Freudian slips. Those tell a story, and that was what Freud tried to listen. What story those slips are telling. But those happen automatically in you. That's the other in you. That's what was created in you, because when you were born, everybody as a baby doesn't have a personality, doesn't have a mind, doesn't have you don't have ideas of your own. What happens every day since you're a child is that everybody tells you, oh, you have the eyes of your father, you have the nose of your uncle, he's funny like his grandparent, he's hardworking like his brother. Everybody tries to put some identifications in you. Because a baby, if you actually see it, a baby doesn't do anything. It's not more than a baby. They are cute, they are lovely, but they are not somebody yet. And what we do as a society and what family does is to put stuff there that the family expects from the kid. And those stuff that happen there in the first 7 years are programmed in your mind, and they will command you for the rest of your life. There are 7 years, and it's getting shorter now because of what we were speaking about with plasma. It's getting done in 5 years now, 4 years in some cases. But the first years of a child are mostly first he's nothing, he's just a baby. So people try to put stuff there. Then the kid starts to look for identifications. Like if he sees that his brother does something funny and everybody likes him, he tries to do the same. So he starts looking for identification. But it's not himself. He's trying to repeat what somebody else did. He's trying to repeat what they told him to be. And then you go in everyday life just trying to repeat what they told you to do. Some people were trying to be a victim. I mean, that's why we speak of archetypes. They are inside you. They come from before time. They are not writing somewhere. They are just what goes transmitted from generation to generation. Archetypes, they are just original ways of people. How much time we have? We are on time?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we extend a couple of more minutes?
Yeah.
I want to go through these three, and then a little introduction to the... Okay, let's do this.
You go, keep going.
Okay, so one thing I was thinking about that could help to go through the next steps, if you're interested, because mostly there, I want also to go to the first 4 steps. They are the basic steps of the method of matching. If you get those 4 steps right, and they are inside, you don't have to change somebody else. It's something with your mind, with stuff inside you. If you do those right, the next steps are easier now because of plasma, because everything moves faster and everything goes with the flow. Now, if you, let's say, if you put if you how you call it? If you put the thing in the right direction, then you just move forward and you're gonna get there. If you start deviating, you're gonna end anywhere else. So, I want to go through those 4, but I won't be able to do it today. What I'm thinking is that we can do, again, free, I'm not asking money, no donation, anything. We can do an online call. We have a system where we do online meetings, and we can continue there maybe an hour to go through those. Probably in 2 weeks, I have your email, so we can sort it out. I think that's a way to avoid cramming everything today, because it won't work. I will have to leave stuff outside, but we can keep connected and see the next steps and keep moving forward. If you like it, I think that's what I think is the best solution, because I have the time to explain everything in the best possible way. So I will go through these 3 quickly, and then there, and then we wrap it up today. So the 3 archetypes. Let's go to the 3 together. Victim, butcher, and savior. With butcher, we have an issue. We have been trying to translate it exactly. In English, there are several words to explain this. It's the butcher, the hangman, the executioner, like the bad people. Let's say the people that do wrong, the evil, violent. That's the idea. Butcher seems like a good way to explain it. We use verdugo, but I think there is no word in English to cover all that. It's butcher, hangman, executioner. Those are the best words to explain it. Victim and savior, I think they are pretty clear in English too. These 3 places are where your mind goes automatically in every situation. It's not some, every situation when you want to do something. Maybe in your work, you try to work as a savior. You try to save people from problems.
Mm-hmm.
But in your family, you are the victim, because your husband fights with you, or your kids fight with you, and you're the victim. Or maybe you're the butcher. Nobody thinks it's a butcher, but nobody thinks in the end. No, I'm a victim or a savior. But everybody's a butcher somewhere. But most people identify themselves with savior and victim, because those are, oh, I'm the victim, oh, I'm the savior. But nobody wants to be the butcher. But it's there, and you can. Mostly happens that you can see that people is acting as a butcher, but they will never see it. So you can see that that happens. These 3 happen automatically in you. They are archetypes. They were created by humanity thousands of years ago, and they get transmitted from family to family, society to society. And they are there for one simple reason. Because you have to you are here to solve those, to avoid getting stuck there. We are here to stop doing the automatic things we do. We are here to initiate ourselves. We are here to create ourselves. That's what Freud tried to say. That's what the Zen master from from China tried to do to get people to understand with ways that are maybe difficult for us to understand today, but they were trying to explain their disciples that they were not there, they are like bags of bones, you are a piece of crap, you don't matter. Mostly trying to showing that their automatic self is actually the problem. It's not the solution. But everybody thinks that this is me and this is who I am, so this is how I should be. All these teachings try to explain us that what we see outside, politics, religion, science, and economy, are outside phenomena of this tree. And these three are different ways of acting whatever was programmed in our mind to act. You can go to anywhere. I mean, again, happens if you don't see yourself in any of this in your day-to-day life. Let me know, because I would like to know you better, because you are a big exception of the universe. But everybody goes through one of these in some way. And if you go here, you will end up in the hands of the paradigm that represent this outside. The victim is the inside representative of the economy. The economy is usually the victim of the politics, the victim of the science. You are usually the victim of economy. Like, it's not something that you can handle right. Some people can, some people can't, but it's the victim of the whole reality, the economy. Savior, the religion and the science go to the place of savior. They try to save you, science from diseases, religion and give you they try to save you for whatever they think you have to be saved from. And the politics is usually the butcher. They are the ones that create the wars. They have the armies. They handle the whatever aggressive force there is in society is usually around politics. So you can see that these go hand by hand with the ones outside, with the paradigms. The key here is to, in every situation, and this is what's called an emergency teaching. I mean, there are ways to explain this deeper, going through lots of details and how this works in our minds, how this works with the different aspects of our minds and our day-to-day life. But this teaching of seeing this tree and finding what problems they create you outside and how to solve them inside, because that's the key part of this teaching. Whatever happens outside, whatever problem you have outside, is just a mirror of what's happening inside you. Once you understand that, and it doesn't mean it's a mirror, so okay, yeah, if I'm having that problem, it's because I have to have it. No. It means you are creating it, and you have to solve it. You have the power to solve it because you created it, but you have to find the cable that connected with you, with what's happening to you. So this tree is what we call an emergency teaching. It's quick and fast to teach it in an hour and a half, but it gives you something for the day-to-day, for tonight when you have dinner, or tomorrow in the morning in your job, in whatever you know. You can see any of these three in you, and you can see in any problem you have. If you are having a problem with something related to politics, with something related to economy, with something related to religion or science, you can see, if you want, which one is happening inside and solve it. These three mostly have the same problem in common. They try to put the problem in another one. The victim thinks the problem is the butcher. The butcher thinks the problem is in the victim. The savior thinks the problem is in these two. This has a whole dynamic where the victim goes to the savior to avoid the butcher, but the savior needs a victim and a butcher to be a savior. The butcher needs a victim to be a butcher, and needs a savior to have somebody who stops him. So they work together, always. You won't see one. If you see one, try to see better, because you will see the three working interconnected. But the three have the same problem. They think the problem is outside. Outside can be in another person. Once you do that, you can forget about magic. Magic doesn't work if you think that the problem is outside. It doesn't mean that there are no problems outside. There are problems outside. But you have to look for the cause of the problem. Where did it start? It's something that happened on your side or something that I can connect with me and me creating it. Well, not me creating it, the automatic, what we call the ego. The ego in me is creating it. What was built in us. That's what we call it initiation, because we are not more than an ego that was created by society and by our families. If we were born in the other side of the world, we will have different ideas, different beliefs. We will like different things. I mean, we will be different people. So is that you, or is this you? Your surroundings create you. So we are here to go beyond that. To go to what we call the hero. Do you remember I told you in the Hopi Rock we were gonna find this same? It's the same idea. This is one of the sacred symbols on humanity. It's called the losange in French. It's translated. There is no translation. It's just a losange. It tries to explain you that in every situation you will see two poles, two stuff that are visible. Usually these two are the visible ones, victim and butcher. You can see two people fighting. You can see somebody being a butcher to a victim. This one is hiding mostly. They move. I mean, this is the most normal way, but the three move. This is what's hiding. This is what's occult. You usually don't see it. You have to look for it, because the savior may be in something that's not happening there, but while they fight, they are being saved of another thing. Maybe of doing their job. Maybe if a couple is fighting, they are getting saved, or seeing their sexuality and what's happening with them after several years of marriage, whatever they do. You can see that this dynamic has something hidden that has the actual power, because whatever they're trying to save from is what has the power to get them to act this. Was it right? Because this is very important, and I have to go a little bit faster now, but I want this to be clear. You should usually see these two in every day, but this one is the one that controls everything. This changes. What I try to say is you will see two happening in the manifest world, but there is one hidden that you have to go and listen to it, see what it is, what they are trying to do to keep this hidden, because this is what has the power. The occult moves the manifest. That's one of the key laws of esotericism. You can I said a couple of times in the Kybalion, as above, so below. The subtle moves the dense. It's the same teaching. That's why we try to go to the subtle causes inside of you. What's in your mind, what's in your words, what's in your feelings, not what's happening with the money you have in your pocket, or the money you have in your bank, or your couple, or whatever, or your disease, something that is dense, that already is in reality. In the reality you can see. These three are subtle stuff that you can change inside, and you will see that while you avoid going to these three places, they start to disappear. I know it sounds kind of magic, but this is magic. That's why we are trying to teach magic. Not illusionist, magic, to create your own reality. To have the money you want in the bank, to have the couple you want, to have the reality you want, the job you want, the whatever it is you want, to have it. But with the most important part of all of this, the internal trip. You are going to have to go inside and find why you go and act the victim, why you go and act the butcher, why you go and act the savior, why you, and what that speaks about you, and how then you avoid it in your everyday life. That's something that only happens to you, and that it will make you and will force you to try to understand what's happening to you with your life, and what you want, why you go to those places, why you connect with those people. It doesn't mean you have to stop connecting with those people. It means you have to stop doing what you do to be a victim. And the only one who can do it is you. There's no way somebody outside can change what's happening inside you. No way. So, the most important part is the internal trip. You will have to go inside, see your history, what is happening to you, why it happens to you with that person. Maybe that person has some, looks like your father to you, or reminds you of your father, and with your father you are used to fight, so you fight with that. So that's automatic in you, that's not you, that's what's happening in you. If it's inside you, it doesn't mean it's yours. I mean, that's something that maybe it's obvious once that you say, but it doesn't mean that, oh, if you find something in your pocket, it's not yours. Maybe it's somebody put it there. In the West, we don't have myths about it. They have good myths about it in India and in Japan, in China. The snake that leaves the eggs, like you have seen those movies where they kill all the snakes, I mean, whatever they were trying to fight, but there were some eggs that the snake left, so they have a second movie with that. But those myths come from China, Japan, where they work with that, because they remind you that you were trying to fight something, it will always leave something inside, and you have to go find it and take it away from you. We call it to block it. You just don't do it. If you are used to being a victim in your job, a victim of your boss, that is the badger, and you wait for your work partners to actually be your savers, you just don't be a victim. I mean, I know it's might be simple to say, but it's the hardest part, because you are used to do it, and you are so used to do it that you don't even know that you do it. That's why it's called initiation, because you start looking to yourself, you start trying to understand what's happening to you in everyday life. The solution for all this is the hero, what we call the hero. The hero starts when you create a vacuum in you. You block that automatism. You block the victim, the bachelor, or the savior. When you don't act that, when you forbid yourself to go to those three places, you can then act the hero in you. It's a mythical place, it's something we use to try to explain several structures that happen in your mind, but the hero has one key law. The hero, always wants to get to somewhere. The hero always has, if you go to Hercules in the Greek myths, he had a lot of stuff to do, but he always had something to do. The gods in different mythologies, they have a result to get. They were trying to do something. They were not just living everyday life. They were in all that chaos that is the everyday life. They were trying to create something, to get to something, to whatever it is that they were. First, they believed it was impossible. That's the key part. It's not something. I mean, it's not like, okay, I will go to my car. That's not. That won't create a hero in you. But if you don't have enough money to buy a car, to get to your car might be a first step to your hero, because you will have to start being a victim of economy and to decide what you will do to get to your car. It's a simple thing. I know it's a materialist thing, but if you go to the original religions, they were trying to do stuff. They were not only spiritual. They created cities. They had pyramids. They have empires. They were trying to do stuff, because without that, there is no way for you to move away from these places. You have to put a new place to be, so you can move to that place. That place is what we call, what is it? The result. Here, step 10 of the 11th step of magic. The result, the realization. You see, it's empty there, because inside there is where each one of us goes. When you get to the result, you can, okay, I'm here. Then you start a new trip to get something that now is impossible to you. For me, it was impossible to travel outside of Argentina 10 years ago. Now it's possible to me, but for me it was impossible to teach this in another country. I was doing it in Argentina for a while. So you have to every day put something for you that is beyond what you think is possible. That's the best way to go to the high road to heroism. That's the best way to protect yourself from this tree. Because if you have a result that you want to get, something that you think is impossible, something that is real, I mean, it has to be something that you want to get. It can't be something in your imagination. Choose happiness. It has to be something that you need to actually get to, that has to be commensurable. Is that a word here?
Measurable.
Measurable, something that everybody can, okay, you got it, everybody can agree that you went there. It can be a travel, it can be whatever you want, but it has to be measurable. If not, you will get cheated by the ego. Oh, you're happy now, but you're still in the same place because you feel happy. No, it has to be something measurable. It has to be something that you can get to it, that you can see, and that can be, I don't know, measurable. I think that's the best way. If it's not measurable, it won't force you to create magic. And it has to be beyond what you think is possible. That's the best path to the heroism. That's the way, because if you put something that you think is impossible, you won't be able to do it if you act any of these three. Because these three are the ones that keep you away from your result. So to get to your result, you will have to avoid getting here. And that's maybe one of the biggest teachings of all this. It's not about what you want to get. It's about what you have to empty yourself from. Whatever you don't have in your life that you want, or whatever you have in your life that you don't want to have it, the key there, what's moving everything around it, what's creating it, is something inside you that you shouldn't have inside. We try to explain it in the simplest possible way in this tree. But to create a vacuum is what science say it's the biggest force to create a universe, a reality. So if you vacuum yourself from any one of these three, that is the place where you go automatically, you will create a room where to create your result. But people think that the problem is that they are missing something. It's never what they are missing, because I think it happens to all of us. You get the thing you were missing, and I see people every day, people still feel miserable. I mean, the sense of fulfillment just doesn't happen. You got it. You got the new car, the house, the work, the phone, the computer, whatever it is, you go through the world, but there is still something missing. Well, it's not something missing, it's something that you shouldn't have. So the path to heroism starts with a vacuum. That's where we get here again. These are the 11 steps of magic. We went today in this small part. This is what I try to explain today. It's just these two and some small parts of different places. But as you can see, it's huge. It has a lot of things to do, and it's something that, if you see that, if I wasn't able to explain it in a way that you can use it in 10 minutes or now or in an hour or tomorrow, if I wasn't clear enough on that, if you don't see it as something that you can apply in your everyday life, I did it wrong. So, do you see in this something that you can take to your life and use it in every situation that you happen? Do you see it like you have to identify which one of the three automatic places you go, don't act out, and put your result, that thing that will lead you to the hero in you? You can see that's something you can do every day. Okay, if that's there, then for today my work is done. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you understand most of it. I know that I need to do it better. These are very sacred teachings that it's the first time in history that we are doing in English. So there are a lot of things that I'm building while I have writing, I have translated, there are stuff that I'm building, creating while I spoke it. So if you all agree, I'm going to send you an invitation for probably a call in 2 weeks. I think it's the best. I'm going to send you a date, probably the same time in 2 weeks. We are recording this, so if you know people that might be interested, we're going to put it online so they can watch it before the next time we meet. And there, I'm going to go through the first 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4. These 4 and this one, with fasting onset. Those are the ones that you need to put in motion to create everything else. But with what I try to explain today, that's something you can do today. And magic has, has something that I think is the best of it. You have to apply everything to get magic in your life. If you choose whatever you understood today, if you apply those drops or whatever you got today in your life, you are going to see results because this works. That's the best part of it. This works. And this keeps working and getting better because you apply more every day. I mean, again, we have over 1,000 people in our school every day. We have meetings every week, and people come to, they connect to the meetings and explain what they are doing, what they apply, what they are creating in their life, and they are seeing change in their life. It's not only that they are feeling better, it's not only that they are creating stuff or getting stuff they didn't get, they are there, they are. That's the key part of it. They started to live, they see results, but they also find themselves. They create themselves in that. So this works. If you got something called you to be here today, again, thank you very much. Thank you for getting through this. I know some difficult parts, but trust me, you have to believe me. We use the paradigm, so you have to believe me. This works. I am here because I apply this the most I can every day. I can explain how I did it, how I got the contacts to create a company here with the same keys, with the chances, getting what I had to block in me to get there, how many years it took me, but how many things I created in the middle, how I progressed in my life. This works, and all I ask you is to apply it. Just use the things you understood, the 3 keys. Don't go to the 3 automatic and try to put something in your life that you want to create that you really believe is impossible. If you do that, magic will go to your life. And if we find each other in 15 days, I hope you can tell me what you are seeing and what is already working, because that's the best part of this. This works. Thank you.
Thank you.